Get Going Fast is hands down the best place to dive into the world of AI.
Hey there all, welcome back to Get Going Fast, where we're getting into this excellent AI hobby in a quick and efficient manner in which you might actually learn something. And today you're going to actually learn something. We're going to be looking at Index-TTS2 Plus, which is another one of these text-to-speech models. Now this one is focusing on expression, which means that you can make it laugh, cry, you play with it. It's not perfect, but you could laugh, cry, deal with those emotive sort of things, be surprised, all this kind of stuff. And notice it says it's duration controlled. So that means that you can work with this to make some very long sentences. Okay, and it can. That is the thing we're going to look at today. It can actually create some very long sentences, which is great. But here's the thing. Here's the dirty little secret. It ain't even dirty and it ain't even a secret. But here's the thing. This is a great cloning software. So this is going to do some fantastic voice cloning. I've used Zonos in the past, which I think is very good. I think this is actually a little bit better than Zonos. And because of the duration control, the longer durations that we can make, it's actually going to surpass it in that. So very cool app. And like I said, you're going to learn something. They do a little bit different process of installing this, so we're going to go through it. You're definitely going to be something new for you. So we will do that. But before we do, I want to thank you so much for liking the channel, subscribing, and sharing the videos with others. I'll tell you what, I've been getting a lot of feedback from people that say, hey, thank you so much. You got me into this hobby. I love it. I'm spending all my time on this. And then I get the hate mail from their wives. No, I'm just kidding. But people telling me how happy they are to get into this. And I'm going to tell you what, it's true. It's such a good hobby, and it's something that you can build on. I don't know if you remember back in the 2000s, early 2000s, if you was old enough then, everyone was like, you'd apply for a job and they'd be like, do you know Microsoft Word? Or do you know how to use the internet? And you're like, I do know how to use Microsoft Word. And you would literally get jobs because you could use Microsoft Office. Okay, guys, we're getting in on the ground floor of a lot of this kind of stuff. And as you are learning not just how to use the software, but how it works, and you're understanding it and comprehending it, you're getting a leg up on the rest of the world. Okay, so very cool. I'm glad to have you here. Glad to have you part of the community, and I appreciate everything that you bring, because a group of good people make a good thing, right? So thanks for being part of that. All right, now we're going to push on into Index-TTS2. I'm going to show you some samples, and then we're going to go ahead and get this thing installed. Yo! Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to be going over to here to this repo. And to find this, we're just going to go ahead over here, and we're going to type Index TTS GitHub. Okay, so GitHub, of course, is the place where all this stuff is kept, and you're going to see it here. Now, we're going to click it, and it's going to just take us straight to the TTS2 version. So this is where we are at. We're going to follow the instructions on this page, and notice it's going to have us do a little bit of different stuff. We're going to be using something called UV, so we'll talk a bit more about this. It's a little bit counterintuitive to what we're used to doing, but here's the thing. It's actually kind of nifty, too. So we'll march into that. Before we do that, let me go ahead and show you a few samples of the kind of stuff we got going on here. So here's Joe Rogan, or his voice clone talking here.
Get Going Fast is hands down the best place to dive into the world of AI without wasting time. The whole idea is about making this hobby accessible, quick, and efficient. So you don't just tinker, you actually learn something instead of slogging through endless.
Check out some other ones here. Here's Mr. President.
Into the world of AI without wasting time. The whole idea is about making this hobby accessible, quick, and efficient, so you don't just tinker.
All right, let's see what else we got here. See if you recognize this voice.
Dispute Resolution 6.1. This agreement shall be governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of the people, S. Republic of China. 6.2. In the event of any dispute arising out of arbitration in accordance with its...
All All right, and then here is, I think this is my own voice. Let's see if this sounds like me.
对不起嘛，我的记性真的不太
Oh,
好。
this is me
但是
speaking
和你在一
Chinese.
起的事情，我都会努力记住的。对不起嘛，我的记性真的不太好，但是和你在一起的。
So that's actually funny. You can actually clone a voice and have it speak in a different language, which is very cool. Okay, let's try this one.
AI without wasting time. The whole idea is about making this hobby accessible, quick, and efficient, so you don't just tinker. You actually learn something instead of slogging through endless setups. You get right into creating, experimenting, and seeing results. It's where beginners can find.
All right, so that was supposedly me. So you can see these aren't the perfect, but they're not bad, okay? I mean, they sound pretty much like, and here's the thing, the better quality you get of sound, the better clone you get.
Setups, you get right into creating, experimenting, and seeing results.
I mean, you know who that is right off the bat. So, okay, so let's go ahead and close these out here. And what we're going to do now, before we do start, as usual, I want to show you that over here at Get Going Fast, I have created a, of course, quick installer, but I've also created a plus version. So we're going to actually, what we're going to install in this tutorial is we're going to install an app that looks very much like this. It's basically the same. The version you're going to see me when we're playing with it has a few extra things. So I've got a way that you can actually download directly from the internet videos so you can get the clone. The other way, what we're going to end up doing with that is you just got to download them and then you'll load them up in here. This just kind of does it for you, as well as mine has a preview, so you can kind of pick once you get the video down, you'll be able to pick the actual segment you want. You can preview it.
So I had a bunch of construction jobs growing up, and those,
so you can find your spot. And then of course I've added a there is down here a history as well, so you'll be able to, once you do this, it saves the voice for later use, so you can just reuse ones you've already created. It auto outputs the save, and then it actually keeps a history of everything that's been generated. But that is in the here's like the session history. Here it is. So this is, of course, in the plus version. This is my version, which you can get over at getgoingfast.pro just by going to Index-TTS2.getgoingfast.pro. Okay, so Index-TTS2.getgoingfast.pro, get the Get Going Fast version. Everything we're going to do today, you're going to be able to do everything we have. Just the plus version has some other stuff that I personally have added that is not going to be in the version you get today. But all the functionality, everything's going to be the same. Okay, now having said that, let's head back over. Let's yo our way back over to here. Okay, so we got to our Billy index. Now, you guys know by now, you don't necessarily want to download everything just because, like, a lot of times what we do is we get in and we just say, I don't know what to do, I'll just download everything. Okay, you want to read the instructions. So we're going to go down here and we're going to find out that we want everything. Okay, but we're not just going to do a knee-jerk downloading. So we'll scroll through here. You can read all this if you want. And all that I'm really looking for is I'm looking for these model downloads here and then the usage instructions. Okay, so here's our environment setup. Okay, this is what we want. Okay, so we're going to be doing the majority of this work on the command line. So we can just kind of walk through the instructions real fast. So we're going to, now, before we do this, see, it has us installing a few things like this git lfs install. It's going to have us git clone, and you're going to notice that as we go down through this stuff, normally we would want to create a virtual environment, okay? And I'm glad that you noticed that. You're like, hey, what about the virtual environment? Gary, sup? And what I'm going to say is, yo, dudes, chill down. What's happening is we're using this thing called UV, and it's a little counterintuitive because instead of actively creating a virtual environment, it's going to do it for us, but it's going to do it later on. So it feels a little bit weird because we're not creating our virtual environment and activating it like 99% of the time we are. But we're going to trust the process here, and it's going to do it for us. But we can see we're going to install this git lfs. That just is a large file system. When we're working with GitHub, the way that they store files, sometimes they store them in large files they might store in a different manner than they store smaller files. And to access them, you have to not just have Git installed, you need to have the LFS extension of Git installed. Okay, and you're going to come down here, you notice that we're going to git clone the repository. These ampersands mean that once that's done successfully, you then do this other command. We're going to go inside the directory. Okay, we're going to go ahead and here's the thing. This is kind of where the magic happens. Because we're actually in the repository, it's going to just, quote, quote, magically know that we want the files there. Okay, so again, like I said, it's a little bit different than what we normally use. And then we're going to go ahead and pip install this UV. So they've got a setup file for us. So it's going to pretty much do all the work. And here's where the magic's going to happen. We're going to get down here to this UV sync. Okay, UV is like kind of the replacement for pip. We're going to get down to the UV sync, and when we start syncing everything, that's when it's going to create our virtual environment. Okay, and then we'll just move on, and we'll do the rest of it. This will be getting the models downloaded. Okay, so we've given it a look. We're pretty much ready to go. Okay, so let's click on over to our command line, and let's get going. All right, so we head over to our command line, find where we want to install this. Now, normally what I suggest you do is you have a directory that's called like AI tools, something like that, that then you can put your different programs in. Yeah, like I got my Comfy UI, I've got my Index-TTS, I've got my WAN 2.2, whatever I want in there. It's just a way to organize it, okay? Because you get going and you get stuff all over the place, you don't know where things are. Just a good organizational tool. What I'm going to do, since I'm just doing a test here, I'm going to put it in a temp directory. So I'm going to type mkdir temp. All right? And now I'm going to type cd. So mkdir stands for make directory. Then I'm going to go cd change directory temp. And now notice I am in the temp directory. Hey-oh. So if I type dir, there it is. It's an empty directory. So in here is where I'm going to do my work. Okay, so we can pop back over to Lay Browser. Okay, and we will scroll back up to the beginning. And there's a few things it wants us to do. Now, it's actually we're going to get this git LFS install. It's actually going to download this on your system. Okay, so this isn't going to go into a virtual environment. I know I kind of made it sound earlier, but this goes along with your Git, which is system-wide. So we're just going to paste that in there. So Git is the name of the program. Remember, Git's what we pull code down with. So we're calling Git. We're saying, hey, program name Git. That's right, I'm talking to you. And I'm saying, I want you to look over here in the section of LFS. We're talking about LFS. What do I want you to do with it? I want you to install it. So that's essentially what we're saying to it. And so it does it and says LFS is initialized. So it initialized, installed it, whatever. Okay. Click back over to our browser. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to git clone this. We're going to hit this Control-C, pop back over to here. And so again, we're talking to Git. We're saying, hey, Git, it's me again. I want you to clone something. Oh, what do I want you to clone? Well, I want you to clone everything that's at this location right here. Okay? So it's going to go down there. It's going to get the files, and it's going to create a folder called Index-TTS, which you'll see in a moment. Now, again, these ampersands, you don't have to have them there. Essentially, what we're doing is we're taking two commands and we're crunching them together. So we could just run this first command, press enter, and then type the second command and press enter. But by using ampersands, we put two commands together. Honestly, we could chain, it's called chaining. We could chain more commands here if we want. We could, and then whatever the next command. We could keep doing that. And essentially, if the left side fails, it won't go to the right side. That's kind of how that works. It's basically like saying, if this left thing over here succeeds, then do this. Okay? So we'll just go ahead and do it the way it did it. I typically go step by step just so that, it doesn't mess up, but whatever. So notice it went ahead, it downloaded the directory, okay? And then so it downloaded it, and then we changed the directory, and so now we're in that directory. So we type dir, and so it downloaded it and it changed it. If we type cd dash or dot dot, that takes us back to the original folder we were in. See this, and remember we made our temp directory, so it created the index-TTS, and we go cd change index.tts. All right, so there we are. And if I type dir, which stands for directory, which means list the directory, it shows us everything that's in here. We can see that WebView later on, this will be the way that we load the thing. It's going to have a lot of stuff in here. So let's go figure out our next command. We'll go to browser again. And now it wants us to pool. So we're going to go git LFS pool. So we'll click on back to our command line, paste it in with Control V, or you can just type it. We'll hit enter, and then it went ahead and did it. Now I'm not sure what it pulled, but evidently it pulled something. Okay, so that was pretty. I'm surprised that was pretty fast. That might be because I already have it cached. But anyway, so we go here, and we will go into this next one. So we need to install the UV package manager. So UV is basically a new version of pip. Okay, so in the future we won't use our good friend pip anymore. We'll all be using UV. It's just kind of a faster version of pip, cuts through a few things, but the reason we're not all using it is because it's still fairly new and a lot of people are using older versions of Python. Like in AI, we use 3.10.11, and because a lot of the software doesn't work without that. So if we were using UV, it might cause issues. So we go back over to here. Sorry if there was some noise in the background there. Had a robot vacuum cleaner that decided to go right now. That is the dangers of living in a high-tech house. Okay, so we're going to pip install -u UV. So we're going to go ahead and install this into here. Notice it's going to download UV. Install it. Now it's there. So we are ready to go. We're in the correct folder. We can scroll over to our next things, and now it's going to install. Notice it says install required dependencies. Okay, so this is where it's going to actually go ahead, and it's going to, it's probably going to use this file over here, this uv.lock, to figure out what it needs. But anyway, we're going to do this, and this is all kind of magic. It just sort of knows what to do. So we're going to copy this, go back to our command line, UV sync. Now, look at this. Creating virtual environment. Okay, so it actually created it for us, which is cool, right? Normally we would type Python-m vim. Okay, so it's doing it for us. But notice it also put a dot there. So the way that this one is working, it kind of uses the Linux way of doing it. It just puts a dot there. So whatever, no big deal. So it's going to go there. If we can actually head over to our file explorer over here. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's see if this will pop up. Okay, and here you can see there's the Vim file that it created. Okay, so it went ahead, created it. It's in there. Crazy thing about this later, we're going to end up running this web UI, PY, and it's going to activate it for us as well. Normally when we're running these apps, we have to go in there and find the Vim file, and we type call vemv /scripts /activate. In this way, it's going to actually do it for us. So anyway, let's pop on over to command, and you can see that it's working on stuff, but it takes a while. So it will do its thing. It's really not giving us much information, is it? So what we'll do right now is I'm going to pause, and we'll let this run. And guys, by the time this gets back, all we're going to really have to do is download the models. In fact, let's take a quick look at that. You're going to see over here, we don't need these. This is all just if the top thing doesn't work. We're going to go down here, and I'll explain what all this does, but we're going to be using the Hugging Face Hub to download these checkpoints. so that once this is done, that's really all we have left to do, and then we're into using the app, yo. So so let's head back to here, and I will pause this, and you won't even realize we're gone. It's like I'm putting you into cryostasis, and in a blink of an eye, we'll be back. It felt like no time passed at all. And we're back, and you notice you were pulled out of cryostasis a little bit early because there was something that happened with the ship. And I had forgotten this was going to happen, so we're actually going to fix this. But notice it got down here, okay? And this is going to always be a problem whenever you deal with this thing, but check it out. It tried to build DeepSpeed. It wants DeepSpeed, okay? Now, DeepSpeed is an accelerator that helps things go faster, but I'm going to tell you, it can work on Linux, but you have to have it pre-built. So if you were on Windows, you have to have it pre-built. If you're on Linux, it would actually go and build this, but not for us poor peeps. Okay, so here is what you're going to need to do to fix this, okay? You could drill through the settings and try to remove it, but I'm going to show you the faster way to do it. What we need to do is you need to figure out what Python version you're using. Okay, and you should be using 3.1011. Okay, if you follow the Get Going Fast way. But you figure out what version you need, and you're going to need to get a pre-built version of DeepSpeed. And so let me explain really quick. So it's kind of like an IKEA thing. Sometimes we need a certain package. We need something, but instead of just saying here it is and you download it yourself, you have to build it yourself. So it's like saying you're going to need a chair, but you have to build a chair. Okay. The problem with DeepSpeed is it doesn't. You can't pre-build it with Windows just by doing this. So really, what we need to do is find a version. So here's where we're going to find. Here's where we're going to find a version. Okay. I'm going to take you. I have a pre-built for this, so I'm going to show you where to get that. So what we're going to do is I have them listed over here at my website. So go to cognibuild.ai, okay, and we're just going to click up here where it says blog, and you'll see that there is one down here. It says Windows install pre-built DeepSpeed with pip. Now, if you're looking at this in the future and it's not right up the front, you can just use the search thing here and just type DeepSpeed, and it will go through here and find it. So click on here. You're going to find the pip version, the Python version that you need. So we're going to use 3.10. We're just going to copy this. Okay. Now we're going to go back over here to our command where we were before. Now what we're going to do is we're still going to type UV, because remember we're using UV. We're going to go UV pip install, and then we're going to paste it in there. So this way it's not going to actually use the, it's not going to actually try to build it. So we'll go in here. Okay, you'll see it starts downloading it, and then I already had it cached, so it's not that big a file. And then it goes ahead and installs it. Okay, so now there's one other thing we got to do here real quick. So unfortunately, there's one last thing we have to do to clear this up. I had actually forgotten we had to do this when I was started this. I was like, oh, we almost done that. I was like, oh, that's right. We got some other stuff. But this is all good. This is all learning stuff. So I went ahead and I typed CLS to clear the screen. Okay, that, clear screen, clear mind. All right, we're going to type dir. And now I want you to notice there's this file called pyproject.toml. That is where the UV is getting the instructions on what to install. A lot of times we pip install this stuff by hand. This is using a file that says, hey, this is everything you need in it. Okay, so you don't have to do it by hand. But we have to edit it now because we had to install our DeepSpeed by hand. But this one, it's got issues. So we're going to type Notepad, and then we're going to type pyproject.toml. That's going to open that file up in Notepad, but I've got to actually spell it right. So let me see here. pyproject.toml. Okay. Now, if we pop on over to here, okay, it's going to pop us up over, and you're going to see that it opened it up in your Notepad. All right. Now, let's go ahead and press Control F, and let's type in deep S. Okay. And notice it's going to bring us down here. It says to install DeepSpeed support. Use this. We're going to hit the next, and we're going to see here. Okay, you're going to see here. This is where it's actually telling it to install. So we're going to highlight this, and we're going to delete it. Just get rid of it. Yo, who wants it? Blah. Okay, so we'll press Control S. We save it. That's how we save it. Control S. Now, if we pop back over to our command line, we can hit clear screen. We can just hit the up button to get back to our initial install. I think we were, let's go back to our browser and figure out exactly where we were here. Hold on, just 1 second. Let's do this. Let's go back over here just to make sure we're at the right spot. We were at, yes, we are at UV Sync All Extras. Okay, so now if we go here, we're there, we hit enter, it's going to go through there, and it'll do what it did, but notice now it skips the building of the DeepSpeed because we removed it, but it doesn't matter because we actually installed it already as well. Okay, so this is actually done. It's got everything that we need. So we'll go back to our browser. Okay, all this other commands here, they were if this didn't work, so we're fine. We're going to scroll down to here. Now notice it says we need to download the required models. And we can use Hugging Face or we can use Model Scope. I don't know anything about Model Scope. I think it's more of a Chinese one. They use it. I don't know the benefits of one or the other. I just know that Hugging Face is what I do everything on. I don't do anything on Model Scope. And I think actually it might even be written in Chinese. It might be harder to see. So we're going to go over here and we're going to say we're going to use UV. We're going to install Hugging Face Hub. And then we're going to put, I'll show you. Let's get over there and I'll show you what's going on. So we'll go here. So we're calling UV because remember we're using the UV package manager instead of pip, and we're saying that we're going to be creating a tool. So it's a little bit different. I think we would normally just pip install, but this says UV tool, so it probably just helps it to figure out where it goes. And we're saying we're installing what tool. What do we want to do with the tools? We want to install a new tool. What's the name of it? Well, it's called Hugging Face Hub. And then in these brackets, we're putting CLI, which means the command line interface. So it's a very, if you just pip install or UV install Hugging Face Hub, you get a little bit different than if you use CLI. This thing, we need the CLI. So no, go ahead, notice it goes ahead and it does it. Now, this is going to allow us to download models directly from Hugging Face. Okay? So now we go up here. And we're going to use, now we can actually speak with Hugging Face. So we're going to copy this. You'll see it says HF. So we're calling another new command. We're going to say HF download index team. So we're saying go to this place. And that's on Hugging Face. That's the name of the company. This is their software. And get their checkpoints. Now this might work and it might not, depending on some things. But let's go ahead and give it a go. Okay. So notice it says HF is not recognized as an internal external command. So what we need to do at this point, okay, you don't despair. You just copy it, all right, like this, highlight it, go Control C. Then we go over to our best friend, the friend that always understands us and is there to have a chat with us, good old ChatGPT. And we just type this in. We say, we were working with UV and installed via UV tool Hugging Face Hub CLI. Okay, now, and we'll say this is the, so we'll paste in the error and we'll say this is the command. So let's go back over here, give it the command that we were trying to use. I'm showing you this. I could just give you the, here's the guy, here, I'm going to look right at the camera. Here's the deal. I could just give you the answer to this, but I'm trying to show you how when these things come up, how to fix them. Okay, so that's why we're taking this roundabout way of doing it, so that in the future you know how to fix this stuff. So we go to back ChatGPT and we give it what we were working on. Now watch, it's going to fix it for us. So notice it gives directly with no path issues. So we're going to do this. UV, it wants us to go UV run HF. Oh, okay, no big deal. So let's copy it. Go back to here. We could even clear the screen again by typing CLS. Paste in. Now, look at that. It went ahead and downloaded it. okay? And you'll see it takes a little bit of time. They're not huge models. It takes a little bit of time. But let's really quickly look at what it had us do, okay? It had us, instead of running HF, instead of direct, essentially we were going HF, hugging face. And no, he couldn't hear us because there was no line going to it. It wasn't in our variables. So instead we're saying, it's like going to a person and saying, like, I can't find John. So instead we go over to Jane and we say, Jane, I know that you've got John's cell phone number. Can you call him and tell him to do this? So we called UV. We said, hey, UV, I need you to run one of your things. I need you to run HF because HF's not listening to me. Can you go talk to HF on my behalf, please? And it does. So that's what happened there, and ChatGPT helped us fix it. So these are downloading, and it's done. See, that really didn't take that long. I've got a fairly fast internet, so I don't know how long she'll take you, okay? But that's done. Now we can go over here, go back to our repository, and the only thing it has is if you want to check your GPU acceleration. I'm not going to worry about it. What we want to do is run the app. So we're going to type uv run webui.py. And again, UV already understands that, hey, we're in the folder. Okay, so if I type UV run, it knows it's going to run this, and it's going to go in there. Whoops, I'm going to say UV run webUPI. It's going to go here, but before it does that, it's going to understand that it needs to activate the virtual environment. Normally, with pip, we would install, we would activate the virtual environment. It's going to do it for us. So let's just go paste this in here. Oh shit, it already did that. Let's just type it in UV run webui.py. Okay. Now notice she's going to do her thing. So we'll just wait here for a moment. Things always take a little bit of time the first time they're loading because it sorts some issues out. So I guess we could probably pause it here for a minute, but it will load this up and then the app will be ready to go, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see it's loading up here. All right, now notice it says, we got an error, cannot find empty port in range 7860. I'm going to tell you why. It's because I'm already running the software. So I need to go close out my other software because I was already running it once before. So now I'll just go back and run it again. I've closed out the other server. Basically what that was saying was saying, hey, you've already got this server running. So now I close up the server, let it run again, and then we'll be gold. Okay, and there we have. Now it's loaded up. Now notice it wants us, down here, it says that you can run it. It's running on local URL 0.0.0.0. Okay, so you can paste it in here, but I'm going to show you something. It's going to actually cause us a problem. So we'll go here, paste it in there, watch what it's going to say. And say, hey, the site can't be reached. Okay, so this is for a local network. We're on a local computer, so we want to change this to 127.0.0.1. If you ever see the zeros, you always got to change it and then check it out. There it is. Hey, sup? There's the app. Now, really quickly before we look at the app, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to change that so that the 0.0.0 thing don't do that to you no more. So let's go back to the command line. Now, the server's running. So I'm going to hit Control-C, and that's going to close it. Control-C cancels it. Notice the thing is closed, and we're back to the command line. So if I type dir, webui.py is the file that loads the app. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type Notepad again because we want to edit this. I'm going to type Notepad webui.py, and it rocks on over to here again. Okay? Now, this time, notice we are in the webui.py. So I'm going to go down here, and if you scroll, you can do a search for 0.0, and notice it's going to bring you here. Default equals this. So let's change that. 127.0.0.1. Notice you could also change the port. If you don't want it on 7860, If it competes with your other apps, change it, whatever. No big deal. So we'll hit Control S, go back to our command line. Now let's rerun this thing again. So we'll go UV run. Okay, that's how we run it, webui.py, okay. We'll run it, it'll load the server, and then this time you will see that that it gives us the correct address. So we'll just wait for this to load, and then we're going. Okay, and here we go. It's finishing up. And notice this time now it says the correct thing. So we'll just copy that. Go back to our browser, paste it in there, and there you have it. Okay, very cool. The app is running. So now let's take a look at how to use it. In the meanwhile, go over to YT Music or any of your other major music platforms and do a search for Jim Day and the Better Story and listen to good music like this.
I stare and I push and I sweat over the goals of mine, and I sit and get anxious over this life of mine, and the things I want are lost over this messy mind, 'cause I sleep at night alone and roll over and over and over again.
So the app is pretty self-explanatory. We're going to put our video reference here. So the video reference is the voice that we're going to clone. Okay. Now, again, I want to notice on this one, you're just going to click and it's going to open up a voice. Okay. Or it's going to open up a way to put a voice in. So like maybe I'll put this guy's voice in here.
Welcome, new American. This is a message from your...
Okay. So that was a project I was working for someone. So we're going to use that voice. Okay. Now, again, over here, notice on my Index-TTS, I could do the same thing, but I can also just throw in a, so I could do it down here, but here I could also throw in a URL from the internet and it'll grab it as well. So there's a lot of advanced features I got in the Pro version, but let's go through this one, show you how the basic. We've got the voice.
Get to the freedom of...
Okay, now we put in our text here. I'm going to say, hey there, all of you. What a great pleasure it is to be working with you here at Get Going Fast. Okay? Very easy. We'll click the synthesize button. Now it'll take a little bit longer on my machine because I'm running other AI stuff to make this video, but it's going to go pretty fast, okay? Look, it's done already, so let's see how it sounds.
Hey there, all of you. What a great pleasure it is to be working with you here at Get Going Fast. Hey there.
All right, that kept the voice really good, okay? So we cloned it in there, all right? Put the words in, and we synthesized it. Good stuff. All right, now, I want you to notice down here, got a few things. Down here, you've got a bunch of samples that you can do. So we could, like, click this one here, okay? And it will actually load it up to here, and it's going to speak Chinese.
没了。哎，我在外面看不是6分钟了。
Okay, so if you speak Chinese, you can do this. I don't know about other languages how well it works, but you can certainly try.
哇塞，这个爆率也太高了，猴皇附体了。
Okay.
哇塞。
So now I want you to notice when we clicked down here, it had a vector set. All right, this third strip here. So it was sad. That was actually supposed to be sad sounding. That sounded more something or other, but you'll know. Oh, I was surprised. So notice down here, we didn't get into this quite yet, but it went and it hit this use emotion vectors. Okay. Clicked over here and it gave us these bars. And so they had surprise all the way up there. Now, we can do the same thing. We started off with this, same as the voice reference. Okay. We had, this was the reference voice. Oh, we had this guy in here, right?
Welcome, new American.
Okay, we had him in there. We put in the words. Oh shoot! Look at that. I got rid of what we had. So let's type it in there again real quick. Okay, we had his original voice, or the synthesized voice.
Hey there, it's a great pleasure to be working with you here at Get Going Fast.
All right, so now what we could do, like what they did with that other one, we can click over here and say use emotion vectors. So we could switch these things up. Let's see if we can make them sound angry. Now, it might not do it because we got great pleasure in there. Sometimes what these things will do is you don't usually hear someone say, it's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure. So it's trained on certain things. Certain words will trigger different emotions. But let's put up the angry thing. Let's synthesize it. Let's see how angry we can make it sound. And if it don't sound angry, we'll put in some angry words.
Hey there! It's a great pleasure to be working with you here at Get Going Fast.
Let's just say, let's try one here. It hurts my brain to have to be working with you here at Get Going Fast. Let's see if that sounds even more angry than the other one did.
Hey there! It hurts my brain to have to be working with you here at Get Going Fast. Hey there!
All right, that was a little bit more angry. Now let's get rid of that. And let's go to sad. Let's go to sad. And we'll say, hey there. I'm sorry for saying that it hurts my brain to have you working here at Get Going Fast. I was feeling insecure and didn't know how to express my feelings. The truth is, you are the best part of everything. All right, let's see if we can make them feel sad doing that. So now, notice this one's going to take a little bit longer because it's got more words, okay? But it's still going to go fairly fast. And here's the cool thing about this, guys. With Zonos, which I love Zonos, okay? I've done a lot of work with Zonos. After 1 to 2 seconds, Zonos falls apart. This doesn't fall apart. But let's see how this one sounds.
Hey there. I'm sorry for saying that it hurts my brain to have to be working with you here at Get Going Fast. I was feeling insecure and didn't know how to express my feelings. The truth is, you are the best part of everything.
And you know what? You guys are the best part of everything, so I don't even have to pretend to be sad to say that. So we'll go back to it's a great pleasure to be working with you here, Get Going Fast, because it is. All right. So there we go. We used our emotion vectors. Now, I want to show you, it's got this, use emotion reference audio. I have not used this, but let's say you have another audio and the person is talking with the gregariousness that you want, or the sad, or maybe the sultry. He's like, ooh, baby, I love working with you. Get going fast. I-oh. Right? And you could get that, and you could use your voice up here, the one you're going to clone, but you're effectively saying, hey, the way that this audio down here that I had, the way they're speaking, use this voice, but in that way. So I haven't played with that. Play with it, man. And they're actually saying that it works. So there you go. You've got you can play around here with your samples. Okay. You can do your same as voice reference. That's just going to be a straight 1-to-1. Okay. You can plug in another type of the guy's talking angry, guy talking sad, talking sultry, whatever. Try to do it, or you can play around with the emotion vectors. And the more you run it, it's going to be a little bit different each time. Okay, let's lastly click this show experimental features. So here we go, advanced generation parameter settings. So you can go in here and play around with this. I'm not going to play with any of this because it's not what I want to do, okay? So if you're having a hard time with one thing or the t'other, change your tokens. Maybe you can make it last longer, make it last shorter. If it's just, you can play around with it, okay? We're not going to go through any of this because it's not important for me. Maybe it's important for you, okay? And I don't think it's important for you. Which listen, guys. Hey, if it was important, if I really thought it was important to you, it'd be important to me. But I really don't think you're going to need to mess with that. So what we're going to do is stick with the settings here, okay? Do your stuff here, and you got it going. If you want some advanced stuff, like I said, you can always go to getgoingfast.pro. Okay, this is free for all of our farmhand members. You can get the plus version. Okay, this is open source, which means that you guys can even make your own changes. When you get the Get Going Fast version of Index-TTS, you get this extracted. All you gotta do is click this button to install it, and it's gonna do everything we did, and it's gonna install the plus version. Then all you gotta do is click run. So you guys get this, and you're actually going within 5 minutes. I added some changes so that we can download it'll download something from the internet, create it 8 seconds, okay, and then it shows it up here. I've got a little clip so it actually saves it in our file voices, so I don't have to reload it every time. So it actually saves it, and we can auto save your generations. This is all stuff that's not in the normal one. But here's the preview.
When I was a kid, man, I was absolutely convinced I was a loser. Always getting kicked.
So that's Joe Rogan there. But now let's say there's a clip up here that I like it a little bit better.
Gym to work out, I had nothing. I was just so tired. And
Now
I
notice
realized,
there's
like,
music
okay,
here.
I can't do this. I have my...
Okay, you don't want stuff with music because it'll mess it up. So you'd find a spot that says, hey, it's good from here to here. Right, so we say from 7 seconds, I can go down here and press 7, and then maybe we'll go up to 16. When I go ahead and hit trim and load, okay, it's actually going to load it down into here. So notice I hit that trim and load segment, and then it put the section down here.
Had any work ethic at all.
So if I put it here, you'll see that's where it started.
Money to buy a car.
So I want to start here.
Work ethic at all.
And I do the trim load segment.
Had any work ethic.
And it put it down there. Okay. Now if I go ahead and whatever I put into here, okay, it'll synthesize it.
So you don't just tinker. You actually learn something instead of slogging through endless setups. You get right into creating.
Okay. So this is all TTS Plus stuff. And then down here, we have got this session history. So notice I've done a few of them. If I go here, I could click on one of these other ones, and it will actually load it up. Now, the server's off, that's why I got that message. But when you get this going here, it'll show you all the ones you've done. You click it, it'll preload it up there, and then you can just go again without having to recreate the voice every time. Okay, and it'll actually it fills all this stuff in. So that's the plus version. Okay, free for all farmhand members. This is the basic version, which is great. Everything works exactly the same. It's got to do a little bit more work to add the stuff in. And if you want to get a video, guys, it's as simple as downloading the video and then loading it into your voice reference button here. And you're off to the races, man. Throw this into, once you create this, throw it into Infinite Talk, which Infinite Talk is still the best. I would say Infinite Talk and Sonic are still the best lip syncing softwares out there. We're going to do a video on Humo and Humo. Just stick with Infinite Talk. And I'm telling you, Sonic is great. Okay, so there you have it. We went through, we used UV, we created, we git cloned the app, we had it install dependencies, we ran up against some error with DeepSpeed, but thank you very much. I showed you how to get DeepSpeed working. On your other apps that need DeepSpeed, guys, that's the answer. Just go get the pre-built that's up there. You can use that. Download it, save it to your own GitHub repository. I don't care. File's there. But we went ahead and fixed that, okay? Downloaded everything else. We tried to download the models, got a little bit of error, so we threw it into ChatGPT, which told us how to use UV to run the tool that we had downloaded. And then after that, everything was gold. It was text-to-speech synthesis utopia. I mean, it was like golden flakes of TTS were just coming down upon us. It was glorious, and we were here to experience it together, which is the best way to experience this stuff, is with a friend. So, all right, you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, hit me up. You're welcome to come over to the Discord. We'd love to connect with you over there. Share the stuff that you're working on. And, you know, as usual, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. We'll catch you on the other side, yo.